Hello, hi, welcome to today's session. I very warmly welcome again to my all Facebook audience, my YouTube audience, and also my dear um, Zoom audience as well. I'm your coach and host, Marathib, and today we will having actually two session. First session will be from 20 to 30 minutes. I will try to be precise and brief on a part one of character and trust. It is from the lessons from the eighth habit, which we have started. And in this session, we will cover a couple of content like a component of character, what composed of composition of character. There is a great story narrated by Stephen Covey in the book, How Character Matters in Office and Personal Work as well. Then we will try to understand what is the difference between personality ethics and character ethics very briefly, and then which is a very important part of today's first section is trust, that how character has a relation with the trust matter. And then because Stephen Covey says 90% failures of leaders are due to characters, so that's a mind blowing, that's a it's a very very important thing which we never realized, that why we are failing due to the character, and that affects of our trust with ourselves and to others. So that's we will discuss today in first section. And in the second section of today, we will discuss, continue the part four of transformation of inner self. And that's a surprising thing. We will know that what happens when everything goes 100% smoothly. What happens when I feel transformation absolutely, what the result I will feel, what the consequences I will receive, what the perception or what's the ultimate reality I will come to the witness. So that will come into the section 2. And I will do the section 2 as a separate Facebook live with a 2 or 3 minutes break as well. So let's start to the section 1, which is about the lessons from the eighth habit. I will try to summarize the uh, the character and the trust section for what we are going to learn today. So character is actually what we basically we are composed of two main impression. One is what is we have inside, and what the second is what how we look like to other people or even myself. So what I'm look like to other person is referring to my personality, how I'm look like in a aesthetic sense, in a beautiful expression I do have, how my face look like, how my body look like, how I speak, and how my body language is about. So that's a personality ethics normally. And what is base of this personality ethics? Usually it should be straightforward, like it should reflect my character, uh, which is inside in my myself, uh, in my mind, um, in my consciousness, in my super consciousness or subconsciousness. That's all composed of the character. And if character become failed, if character become a failure for myself, then my personality can also collapse easily. So but and the more importantly, there should be the harmony between the character and the personality ethics. Otherwise, the dilemma of today, the tragedy of today's modern man, is we all have a different inside than what we are supposed to look like, or what we look like actually are from outside. In my inside, I don't want to become a jealousy person, a hatred person, or I don't want to be look like a greedy or egocentric or selfish. But from outside I look like, sometime I pretend that I'm a very uh, good or nice or a humble person, and sometimes it happens other way around as well. So but until there is a very important saying that there are no moral shortcuts in the game of business or life. There are basically three kinds of people. Number one, the unsuccessful, the temporarily successful, and those who became and remain successful. The difference is character. So character make you unsuccessful or temporary successful or failure person. That's a very famous quote from the book. Stephen Covey has quoted CEO expression. So there are basically three facets or three things which makes the character. I have already detailed things in couple of months ago, a separate series made on these things. What I'm going to describe here very in a quick way: one is the integrity, that makes character; maturity, that's a contributor in making a strong character; and number three is abundance mentality mindset. So when these three things combine together, integrity, maturity, and abundance mentality, then the formation of character will be very strong, and that is with the endurance and long lasting. And now, Stephen Covey in the Eighth Habit, he said the the number one factor which makes your character is integrity, and integrity is all about making a commitment and keeping the commitment, making the promise and keeping the promise. Never ever break these commitment and these promises, and that makes you make your integrity. It means that you are integrated around principles and natural laws that ultimate govern the consequences of our behavior. That's very important. Integrity, because it's a natural phenomena, that's why integrity will directly link with natural laws. So, law of the harvest, law of the courage, law of the gravity, law of attraction, the law of personal vision. So there are so many natural laws, and if we are keeping with the law, if we are following with the law, then it means our integrity will be stable. Then it means we are stable person, and our character is stronger, and that's all about. So that's the number one factor that makes our character, and we will proud of ourselves. We have self love, if self loving effect on ourselves. So the number two factor which brings our character formation is maturity. The maturity is developed when a person pays the price of integrity. So when you practice or exercise natural laws, and you are keeping and maintaining what you are saying, what you are promising with yourself or with others, with your family, friend, with your other things, that makes us the mature person. Because that refers to our private victory, and because I'm going to win over myself with my courage, and obviously my courage and my kindness is also is a source of integrity that leads to the maturity. So that's maturity is the number two key factor in making my character, in addition or with the foundation of integrity. So that's a very important number two. The third important factor is about abundance mentality mindset. Mostly people in around us, they unfortunately believe in scarcity mindset. They don't believe on abundance mentality, because they have a mindset that everything is going to be short, everything is going to be to run out, and I am in competition. Life is a game, life is a race, so I have to run to pick that thing. I have to be win, otherwise somebody can win. And that mindset will make you in the always war zone. Always is like you are in competition. Even when you are sitting with your wife or husband, when you are sitting with your friends, when you are sitting with the colleagues, when you are at work, when you are in any party, you think that you are in a competition to win over from other. So because you are believing on scarcity mindset, you don't believe that there is enough for everyone, there is sufficient for everyone around me, and everyone will get his or her part. Everyone will get the result of his own. It's an immense world. It's a magnificent worldwide phenomena is going to be happen, and you will take your part, and I will take my part or my contribution. And that's the thing. If we have this with the that makes my character. And if you think about yourself or your friend and family, so I believe many people are lack of character. Sometimes they are no mature, or sometimes if they are keeping the promise, they are not fulfilling it. Or sometimes if they are have integrity, or they look like mature person, but they somehow have a lack of abundance mentality. So one or the other thing, if we are lacking, then that will stop us to become abundant, a mature person, a characterful person. So that's a very important thing we need to understand. It is also important that the character is something which is inside, which is our really being, is connected with our being, our existence, and that's what we are. So integrity, natural laws, if we believe on power of no, now if we believe on um, principles, if we believe on all natural stuff, that is a part of our inner being. Yeah. And we, our personality must match with this. And if we are not matching our personality with our being or our character, then that will have a conflict, and we will never be happy or in a peace in a long way. We may have a temporary, I mean, in a temporary happiness, but not the long term happiness. Or the Eighth Habit book written by Stephen Covey was actually he taught in the book himself that he actually studied 150 years old literature on success. And when he found that the before World War One, and that era of 1918, before 150 years of World War One, the whole success literature were focusing on character. And then after World War One, and when the industrial age were we were going to move from harvest age or from previous ages, then that has shifted into the personality ethics. And that's why the people who can talk very eloquently, very nicely, who look like a charming personality, who have a who look like a rich person, or uh, who have a great sexual orientation type of stuff, they are more successful in a business life. then people were ignoring their character related properties. So that was prevalent all across the world in the business world when seven habits was introduced. But when the people study the seven habits book, then the old people start to reconnect with connect with the character, because seven habits, especially the first three habits, they teach you about how you can develop yourself, and you can win yourself, and then from there you can uh, proceed to the public victory, which is next three habits. So first three habits were focusing on character building, and then that become the foundation for next three habits. So that become a great pattern for learning, and that's why the millions of people, they start to read that book, and that's why the Stephen Covey becomes so popular. That is one of the greatest contribution Stephen Covey had, because he helped the people in making the character. So now we will going to read a story from the Eighth Habit, as it is from the Stephen Covey's book, The Eighth Habit, in which he met with a bank president who had the problems at the workplace, and in spite of his great effort, he was not successful to motivate or to take the work from the staff, and his or her organization was totally in towards failure because of his some character issue. And that is a mind blowing thing in today's world as well, because Stephen Covey, like he said, the 90% failure of leaders are due to the character. So but we will read this book, sorry, this story, and let's try to. So this I have made this story in two part. The first part, when the problem, what was the problem when the Stephen Covey was going to give a training to the staff of that bank, and what he saw there, and what was the problem. And the second part we will again read, in which they found the solution, and Stephen Covey unleashed to the president what is actually going on, why your bank and the company is not in progress, what happened. So we will going to read this. So I will ask Jenny if you can read this first part of the story, so that my audience can listen as well, and then we will go further.
Some time ago, I was asked to consult for a bank that was having a problem with employee morale. I don't know what's wrong, bemoaned their young president. Bright and charismatic, he'd risen through the ranks only to see his institution faltering. Productivity and profits were down. He blamed his employees. No matter what incentives I provide, he said, they won't shake off this gloom and doom. He was right. The atmosphere seemed poisoned with suspicion and lack of trust. For 2 months, I ran workshops, but nothing helped. I was stumped. How can anyone trust what's happening here? Was a typical employee refrain. But no one would tell me the source of the distrust. Finally, in more casual conversations, the truth emerged. The boss, who was married, was having an affair with an employee, and everyone knew it. It was obvious now that the company's poor performance was caused by his conduct, but the greatest damage this man was doing was to himself. He was thinking only of his own gratification, disregarding long-term consequences. Moreover, he had violated a sacred trust with his wife.
Thank you very much. It's a great learning. So, if you try to understand the first part of the story, that the Stephen Covey tried to educate and giving the training to the employees for more productivity, but he was failing because the staff were not convinced with the president, whatever the president wanted to implement. And then he found that there is a problem, and the problem is in the office or in the organization, the big boss has a affair or love affair with one of the employee, and that's a problem. Because of that, he lost the trust on the employee, and employees and staff, they did not follow the president, because obviously he was not the man of principle, and he either did not have a um, influence positively, so he was not a role model for in some sort of for his employee, and employee did not listen, and they always create a trouble. And that's why even the Stephen Covey was giving the so much training for many days, that did not work. So in that the same chapter, the Stephen Covey actually surveyed on 54,000 people, and Stephen Covey found that which is a single and number one factor uh, of leader influence uh, to the other people, to the in the home or in the office, which number factor out of 10. For example, there are a lot of factors which he surveyed, including integrity, communication, people focused or visionary, or being a decision maker, or dedication, or being a role model, or being a motivator uh, of the company, or as an expert, or as a courageous person. So there are so many factors in that survey were presented to the audience, and look what the audience found. Audience give the vote. This gave number one factor which a leader does inspire to the staff is integrity, and integrity is referring to character directly. So if you are not a person with the integrity, then you will have very low impact on your audience, and they will not listen to you. That happens in our home as well. If parents do not show integrity, um, maturity, or abundance mentality, then they have a poor conduct impact on the children, and children don't listen. That is a dilemma for parenting as well. So therefore, uh, uh, it's one of the great saying from Indian great guru Mahatma Gandhi. He actually mentioned in one of the quote that the quote start: "One man cannot do right in one department of life, while he is occupied in doing wrong in any other department. Life is one indivisible whole." Uh, quote close, comma close, and quote finish. So, what Gandhi is saying that you have to be complete in all roles of your life, in all departments of your life. Successful person is a whole person, like Stephen Covey is saying. If you are successful in one role or one department of life, you must also have successful in other departments of life. And because you life is one indivisible whole, if there is a gap, if there is a ripped section of your life, that will impact on other as well. So in this category, what happens, um that person, because the president had a bad conduct, and he used to have he had a affair with the employee, and that is directly linked with the character, especially when he was a married, and he was actually deceiving his wife. That's a more pathetic thing. Um, and obviously many people, they laugh from inner side, that when somebody is trying to give the official order, and when the impression is that why I should listen to him or follow his order, because I don't trust on him, I don't respect him, because he is deceiving his wife. And that is a dilemma in our societies as well. So what is lacking actually? There is a big gap of trust. We do not have a trust, and like we do not love other because we do not believe in love, the power of love. Therefore we also do not believe on trust, and we do not trust on other because we in somehow foundation as an inferiority complex, we somehow has a lack of our character, um, and we somehow are very immature. We have a scarcity mindset. We are definitely not have integrity, and that does not refer to a trustworthy person. So Stephen R. Covey, and actually order or work with his son, which is his name is Stephen M. R. Covey, and he wrote a great book, The Speed of Trust. In that book, Stephen M. R. Covey, his son of Stephen Covey, he wrote that book, and he mentioned that how the trust can a single and the most influential positive impact in organizational uh, productivity, or even a personal as an individual as well, and that will cover your whole life and your relation, from your personal relationship with yourself to the relationship outside of the world. That covers your spouse, your children, your friends, your colleagues, your boss, your customers, and your society in all the walks of life. So that trust is one of the vital important factor as well. In the book, he mentioned that there is one thing that is common to every individual, relationship, team, family, organization, nation, economy, and civilization throughout the world. One thing which, if removed, will destroy the most powerful government, the most successful business, the most thriving economy, the most influential leadership, the greatest friendship, the strongest character, the deepest love. So, the one that thing, if we remove, then everything will be destroyed, which I just mentioned. That's because the one thing that changes everything, that is a trust. Trust is so important in the life for building relationship. He also says that on the other hand, if trust develop and leverages, that one thing has the potential to create unparalleled success, prosperity in every dimension of life. Yet it is the least understood, most neglected, and the most underestimated possibility of our time. The one thing is trust. So trust, a lot of people underestimate what is trust. I remember when I read and I heard this idea about that trust is so powerful, and that man has written a single book on our trust, and they are giving a training all over the world, or the teachings based on the teachings of that book. And then when I read this book, then my life also transformed. And when I discussed with my wife, with my colleague, and wherever I could, then everybody became so impressed as well. And they say it's a very common sense, and we didn't realize that the trust is so important for everything, and the relation in relationship, and in organization. So if boss does not have trust with employee, and employee does not have trust on the boss or management, how the flow of productivity will flow inside the organization or inside the family. This, if this is a missing, then there is a great resistance. Everyone is struggling to make things possible without trust. look at, if wife or husband do not have a trust, and how they can run the kids department. If boss or employee does not have a trust on each other, how they uh, will focus on sales or other departments of the organization. Look at, it's very important. It's a very crystal clear that uh, that the trust is one of the most important, and because it is directly linked uh, with the character. So he also write that the trust impacts us 24/7, 24 hours and 7 days, 365 days a year. Stephen M.R. Covey further writes, it undergirds and affects the quality of every relationship, every communication, every project, every business venture, every effort in which we are engaged. It changes the quality of every present moment and alters the trajectory and outcome of every future moment of our lives, both personally and professionally. So he also further says in the last paragraph, he said, I'm also convinced that in every situation, nothing is as fast as speed of trust. And contrary to popular belief, trust is something you can do something about. In fact, you can good at creating it. So that's a power of trust. I would suggest you please read this book. Buy from Amazon. It will change your life at a personal level and also in organizational level. So, keeping this fact, let's go to the next part of the story of the president who had the affair with the employee, and he lost the trust of the employee because of flaw in character, especially when he was a married, and um, he was deceiving his married wife as well. So let's see how the Stephen Covey helped that manager, that president of bank, to fix it. So there is a quick half of the story. I would ask Cynthia if you can read it, please.
What became of the bank president who was intimately involved with an employee? When I confided to him what I knew of his affair and the effect it was having on his staff, he ran his fingers through his hair. I don't know where to begin, he said. Is it over? I asked. He looked at me squarely in the eye. Yes, absolutely. Then began by then begin by talking to your wife, I answered. He told his wife, who forgave him. Then he called a meeting of his staff and addressed their moral problem. I have found the cause of the problem, he said. It is me. I am asking you to give me another chance. It took time, but eventually employee morale, a sense of openness, optimism, and trust improved. In the end, however, the executive was doing himself the greatest favor. He was finding his own path to character.
Absolutely. Thank you. It's a great reading. So, did you see that how this president overcame his this problem of flaw in character, and actually he became so courageous. He discussed this affair with the wife and asked for sorry for this, and his wife generously forgave him, and then he restarted his a new phase of life, and then obviously, because if the trust is loose by employees, then it takes time, but obviously eventually employees regain that trust of his boss, and that then they start to uh, operate as a as not only the regular workflow or the employees work at the place, but with more productivity, because now they are aligned. The boss and the employees are in aligned, and now and it became open to everyone as well, that now there is no affair of boss with the employee. And so it does mean that if you have a character flaw, it does not mean, the good news is you can restore your character, you can reconnect with your being, and then you can do the great things at workplace or at personal level. So that is a overall picture on a part one, that the how trust and character are work together. And that's a lesson I find for you as a part one from the Eighth Habit book. I hope you find it interesting. And if you have any question, please let me know. If you want to share your any story, please let me know. Then otherwise, I will go for the next section, which is transformation of inner self, um, from the psychiatrist book. We will learn is a part four. So let me see if somebody has any question on the Facebook. Okay, so that's it. That's the first part of today. I will take a quick break for 1 or 2 minutes, and then we will start the next section, which is about transformation through the inner peace, and what the result we will get, how we feel when we are fulfilled from fulfilled from our transformation. So that's an important thing we will learn. Okay.
Hey, how long is this break, Meritib? Because I was about to go get a
Yeah,
grab a call.
yeah, just a 2 minutes break. I believe so.
Okay, all right, I'll be right back.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, how Jenny, you have come back?
I have returned.
Okay, okay, excellent. So let's start it for the next one. Cynthia, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you. Hi, welcome to our second section of today's part, and we are going to start our second part for today. That is a transformation to the state of inner freedom. Uh, it's a part four, is the last part in this transformation series. In last 3 weeks or 4 weeks, we discussed about and we learned from the book Letting Go that how the health is so important in transformation, and how we transform how we can transform our wealth as well, how we can transform our state of happiness as well. So this last section in transformation, we will learn about what happens when we transform our happiness, when we are fulfilling with immense wealth, great mindset. What happens when we have a great and ideal health in our life? What happens um, in nowadays? If we see or watch any video, they talks about how to improve the health, how to become happy, how to earn more money, but they don't tell you often that what will happen what when you become a millionaire, what will happen when you will become a great body with no illness, with so much energy, and uh, uh, in that dimension. And they also not tell you why you want to become happy, why you need to work on your depression or anxiety or frustration, what will happen. So now today we will learn this thing from a world renowned psychiatrist, Dr. David Hawkins, from the book that how is look like the uh, when we transformed our life. So obviously, it we get the transformation stage by stage, and eventually, after healing and continues focusing on our problem of our life, we will eventually become happier and long-lasting being as well. But that is thing that we are learning from the spiritual point of view, um, because this series we started uh, from the spiritual point of view, like solution with spiritual intelligence. If you remember our previous thing in that series, spiritual spiritual solution is also offer you 1 degree change every day, and 1 degree change every day, if you do, then you will eventually reach your destination through amazing journey, and that will never ever for destruction, for destroy again as well. Like, um, in that means that if you try to restore your body or health or happiness through other means, there is possibility that after 1 month or 2 months or few weeks you will become sad again, you will become unhappy again, you will lose your health again. There is chances. But if you are going to transform your body, your wealth, your quality of happiness through spiritual intelligence, through uh, through work on your inner being, then it will be forever, for long lasting. But obviously, permanent and regular maintenance required, obviously. in that thing as well. Then nobody can snatch your health from you, money from you, um, and happiness from you, peace of mind from you. So let's try to learn. There are a couple of paragraphs, like three paragraphs today, and we will learn what happens when we have a inner freedom, when we have a immense, we have achieved what we meant to be here. What happens when we are living in this planet according to our own desire, uh, spiritual desire, I mean. So I will ask Jerry if you can start reading for this para, please.
The state of inner freedom. What does life become when one continuously surrenders? What is possible? In the surrendered state, we are independent of the outer world as a source of satisfaction because the source of happiness has been found within us. Happiness is shared with others so that in relationships, the surrendered person is supportive, sympathetic, encouraging, patient, and tolerant. There is an effortless appreciation of the worth and values of others and a consideration for their feelings. Power struggles, being right, and providing our point have been relinquished. There is an automatic, non judgmental attitude in the supporting of others to grow, learn, experience, and fulfill their own potentialities. There is an easygoing, nurturing acceptance of others. We feel relaxed, vibrant, and full of energy. Life events flow automatically and effortlessly. We no longer respond from a motive of sacrifice or giving up something for others. Instead, we see ourselves as being of loving service to others and the world. Life events are seen as opportunities rather than challenges. The personality is gentle and open with a willingness to let go and surrender nonstop because of the unfolding and ongoing inner process of continuous revelation.
Thank you. It's a great reading. So if you see that when we surrender our problems to in front of our being or our super conscious, then we become independent of from the opinion from other people about us. We become independent that somebody can abuse me morally, physically, or spiritually, or emotionally, from any point of view, because we become independent. Because happiness, the source of happiness which makes me happy, is lie within me, is not outside. So no matter what you are going to tell me, what you are thinking about myself, what you are going to judge about me, or certain with my any dimension, it does not going to be impact on me. So you are going to become a proper proactive person, that who does not hesitate of any opinion from other, and they look like they are insensitive. uh, also the power struggles and being right and providing our point have been relinquished as well. So it does mean that we, when the people they live, then they are in struggle of power, that I'm going to win, you are going to lose. When we are at home, so husband or wife or partner, they try to win over each other. When we are at workplace, one colleague try to win from other colleague, and both try to win over employees intelligence or productivity at work. So everybody is in like a competition. Now you are not in competition when you have a state of inner freedom. Then you does not depend on anyone who is competing you. Actually they will inspire from you, that why you are not in race. Have you tried to learn from your surrounding? When you quit or you are out of any race or competition, then the people start to say, oh hello, i'm I'm insulting you continuously. I'm giving my judgment, negative judgment about yourself, but you are not responding. Why you are not responding? So they actually feel themselves as insulted. Uh, they start to feel that, oh, um, uh, they feel inferiority complex themselves when they are judging someone to that person who has already achieved inner freedom. So, but sooner or later they will inspire positively. In the initially, obviously, because they did not have a mindset that how they should see that person who have win the inner freedom. But eventually when you will have integrity and showing that thus permanent state of great freedom from inside, through your attitude, through your ignorance of the outer affairs, then they will impress with you. Your circle of influence start to expand. Your balloon of circle of influence start to impress, and the people will start to follow you as well, because you have now power. You are free from your outside, and there is easy going, nurturing acceptance of other. Because if other people, if your husband or wife or your children or your boss or other people are creating problem for you, you are accepting them, and you know them, that they are not going to interfere the flow of your life, because your security is inside. And because we see ourselves as a being of loving service to others and the world, so we see the life event as seen as an opportunity rather than challenges or problems or difficulties. So every day when we are in our life, and any problem we are facing, we that problem will we will see as an opportunity, when we have a great inner freedom in our life. And that inner freedom, that transformation, we must strive for. And that's how this book is telling about, this transformation is telling about. And he in the book, psychiatrist David Hawkins further say, as the process unfolds, we feel an inner transformation. This leads to a consistent feeling of gratitude, pleasure, and certainty about our goals. There is a living in the present rather than a preoccupation with the past or the future. Is a very important. Normally, we live with our past. We live what has been done. We live what has been, uh, what how we have been abusively dealt by other. We have very bad experiences from our life, from different incidents, and our current decision, our current action actually becomes the response from our previous events, and that continuously hold us back, that continuously does not push us to go forward in the life. That's the one aspect. The other aspect is our future fears, our future goals, not in a positive way. I'm talking about here negative way. We when we are too much in future, we don't care about present as well. So it means our present is continuously ignoring by my past event, by my future, um, by my future anxiety or fears, or fear of failure, that will make me out of track in my present life. And that he is saying, when we have our inner freedom, then we do not hesitate, and we are not depend on or negatively on any past event or any future fears as well. That is a power of inner freedom when you have. So there is a living in the present rather than a preoccupation with the past or the future. I would refer you a book, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. He is a very thin book, but it will transform your life. If you are stuck in your past or you have a fear of future, you must read it, and then you will be released from these all external forces from your past or your future fears. And that is a must read for you. I must recommend it. In the book, the psychiatrist David his further say, there is a trust defenselessness because the power that was projected onto the world has been re-owned. There is inner feeling of strength and invulnerability, leading to an insecure inner serenity. So that is the obvious reason when you are in a pub in a great um, freedom of your inner self. He also says that at first there is identification. I'm a body, and as the mechanism of surrender continues, it becomes quite obvious that I am the mind that experiences the body, not the body. So first, he is telling you the stages, how you become out of your paradigms of perceiving the body and mind. So he said, first, you think that you are a body when you are in problem. You think that you are a body, and you have illnesses. You have a fear of death. You have fear of illnesses. You have a survival problem. That's the number one stage. But when you are going to be enlightened, when you are going towards spiritual solution, then the second stage comes when you see that no, my body is controlled by my mind. How I am thinking, my mindset, my paradigms is controlling my body. That's the next stage towards enlightenment. And then when you realize that your mind, you are your mind and your mind is perceiving your body, then the next stage of enlightenment or inner freedom comes, and that is that your mind and your body is also witnessed by something. So who, what is that something? Who is that thing? That is your consciousness. That is your God. That is your Allah. And that is your you can say anything, whatever the belief system or spiritual path you belongs to. So, and that is our ultimate freedom edge and point where you must be there. And so he further says he that now you have a I am not the mind, either body, but that which witness and experience the mind, emotion, and the body. So, if you remember, we have discussed in previously in so many Sunday classes that we think that we are due to our action. We identify through our body action. Sometimes we identify ourselves through our thought, and sometimes we identify ourselves through our passion. Remember? But I told you that no, it is not. It is something you are not identified with your action, not your thoughts, not your passion. You are identified with your being. You are identified with your consciousness, who is witnessing all these three things. And when you are witnessing uh, through your consciousness, that will give you the inner freedom. That gives you the power to to have to show proactive behavior and to bear any loss, even if you have lost your loved one, if you lost your father, if you lost your mother, if you lost your kids or your any relation, then you have a power to bear this, and you will understand that this death is not um, a forever or permanent phenomena. That is just a transformation from this world to another world, and everybody has to decay. This is the principle of this world. That's how world is meant to be. but actually after the death which we see, the person does not actually die. They transcend to another life which we cannot identify, which we cannot recognize that world, or that level of consciousness which we must have. So that's a more important, that we must live with our conscious. And we the people who live with conscious, the people who do not live with their body, the people who do not live with their mind, or people who do not live with their emotions, they must live with their conscious, because they need to see their body, mind, and passion or emotions through their conscious eye. You must reconnect with your conscious through so many, and you can achieve this. This book, The Power of Now, or there are so many gurus and spiritual master, or religious imams, religious sheikh, um, monks, Buddhist, Hindu yogis, all across the world, who can help you to come out, to connect with your conscious, and then you will be in a state of freedom. So in the last para of this book, let's learn about what the psychiatrist Dr. David Hawken is telling about inner freedom in further. So I will request Cynthia, if you can read it, please.
Through inner observation, there is a realization of something that remains constant and the same, no matter what goes on in the external world or with the body, emotions, or mind. With this awareness comes a state of total freedom. The inner self has been discovered. The silent state of awareness that underlies all movement, activity, sound, feeling, and thought is discovered to be a timeless dimension of peace. Once identified with this awareness, we are no longer at the effect of the world, the body, or the mind. And with this awareness come an inner calmness, stillness, and a profound sense of inner peace. We realized that this is what we were always seeking but didn't know it because we had gotten lost in the maze. We had mistakenly equated ourselves with the outer phenomena of our hectic life, the body and its experiences, the obligations, the jobs, the titles, the activities, the problems, and the feelings. But now we realize that we are the timeless space in which the phenomena are happening. We are not the flickering images playing out their drama on the movie screen, but the screen itself, a non judgmental witness of the unfolding movie of life, with no beginning, no end, infinite in its potential. These progressive realizations of our true nature prepare the ground for the ultimate realization of the identity of consciousness with divinity itself.
Excellent. Thank you very much. It's a great reading. So it's a very, very important. I must say, if somebody is watching me or listening me, I'm going to reveal a truth, and that truth, if you can follow, then you will be immensely blessed in this world. And what is that? That this life is not this life is a maze, and you have to come out from this maze. The maze, if you have idea, you when you are playing, or you see the maze, you always trapped, and you cannot come out from that maze. So if we are in this life without our consciousness, if without our conscious with divinity, then we will all the time chasing our tail. So that's a problem, why we are stuck in our life, because we continuously are chasing our tail, and you cannot catch your tail. Some Mostly we are taught by our parents, our teachers, our society, that we are character of this life. We are roles. but we are just imaging, playing out with the drama of the life like a movie. We are playing a role, and therefore that makes us bound, that make us closed in this life. That's showing our patheticness, our limited life. But actually it's not. You are actually a screen on which everything is going on, and screen itself is without any roles. Screen itself, the movie screen, the TV screen or cinema screen, is actually does not have any past or does not have any future. You are the screen, and actually that screen he is showing is infinity, is full of infinity love, if full of infinity potential that you are. So once you realize that you are a character or you are a role of the life, or somebody is plucking the cables and you are just dancing on the fingers of some other people, or this life, or some ghost is making your life or controlling your life, that make you very limitful. But actually in a reality is opposite is true, that you are not in clutches of anything. You are you are a that cinema screen which is independent of role, which is independent of time, which is out of the maze, which is uh, which is a timeless dimension of peace, and which is a totally freedom, and that you need to achieve. And you can achieve, you need to transform your life, connect with your people, your spiritual masters, who will help you to come this power. uh, and that's they are in every religion, in every spiritual um, ways as well. Stephen Covey himself was a very connected with spiritual master. That's why he was focusing lot of his teaching with inner self. But obviously he was not teaching a Christianity or any uh, uh, religious in terms of preaching, but he taught these old principle uh, in a secular way, uh, that the people must understand these things. So that is the thing which how we can feel when we have a inner freedom or state of freedom. So that is for today. If you have any question related to today's work, so let me know. If you want to share any story of your personal, then let me know. Uh, I'm happy to listen to you, or the audience can listen to you. If you have any question about this, also you can share with us, with me.
So, how long does it take to find that inner peace?
Mhm. Well, it
I love
it is a it's a great question, Cynthia. I believe it is a step by step process. Like in this today reading, he said first you need to understand you are not a body. Yeah. Then what you are. Then you need to understand that your body is perceived by your mind. That's the second step, or second stage. And then you the third step is your body and mind is witnessed by something else, and that is a conscious or super conscious. When you reach on that point, then you have a inner freedom. And obviously every tradition or every culture or religion have a different path to reach on that conscious level, and you need to follow that path, whatever, wherever you are. Obviously I'm not spiritual master, so that you need to connect with your spiritual master and follow their path, so all path goes to the same point. And that's why that psychiatrist Dr. David Hawkins, although he was a scientist, he was a psychiatrist and he was a great intellectual person in a modern science. But he found that the ultimate inner freedom we can only get through spirituality, through spiritual intelligence, and that is my focus as well. Like, for living in this world, we need to follow habits, principle, business ideas, new motivation. That's absolutely fine, and to living in this world. But in spite of living in this world, we have to conquer our consciousness from our inner being to touching our inner being through other side. So therefore, I take both approaches side by side so that we have a complete and comprehensive way uh, to get the ultimate success in our life from inner side and from worldly side, point of view. So that's I hope it clarifies your question.
Yes, thank you.
Very welcome. So that's it. We will start a new series in spiritual solution with spiritual intelligence next Sunday, because transformation has ended. Four episodes of transformation. If somebody has not watched the transformation of previous episode, there is a recording on my YouTube channel. You can go through, and that's it. Thank. Let me see if somebody has any question on Facebook or YouTube. It looks like no question. So, if you haven't joined my YouTube channel, you can subscribe my YouTube channel, and there are my blog website. You can subscribe to my blog as well. I write new things, and I upload new links and new videos through my blog as well. And thank you so much for joining and watching me. And I will see you next Sunday with new topics and new sections. Thank you so much.
Everyone have a great week. Jean, I'll talk to you during the week.
Okay, bye.
Bye
Okay.
bye.
Bye. Hi, welcome to our second section of today's part, and we are going to start our second part.